I'm coming to you live from my bathtub, currently dressed like a 13-year-old boy who does not know how to dress himself and becomes a walking advertisement. Uh, but the real reason I'm here is because I want to talk about my Instagram content. Now, specifically in my last video that I uploaded about taking the time to discover who you are and what you want to do with your life. And in that video, I bring up a point where we have two options in life. We have the road not taken and the road most traveled. I essentially said people are more lucky to be able to take the road more traveled. And it's not to say that one is more difficult or easier than the other, but it's more to say that there are certainly unique struggles for those of us who face that road untraveled, that the road not taken. And one of those challenges is a lack of support from family, friends, society at large. And I don't know or understand why. We are untrusted because of something outside of our control. We don't get to choose which path that we take, the most traveled or the untaken. We don't get to choose. I become fulfilled from creating things, from making art. I'm fulfilled from making music. But I didn't choose to become fulfilled that way, you know. It's so much easier if I was fulfilled becoming a lawyer, if I was fulfilled becoming a doctor, but I'm not. So I can't do those things because I will never live a life unfulfilled. I can't do it. I refuse. So I'm going to take the difficult choice and take the road untaken because I must have and lead a fulfilling life. You see, this video was partly inspired by true events that happened in my life that are examples of this lack of support from my own family and my own friends. One of the things I talked about was letting your ambition guide you, and how if you fully trust in yourself and believe and know that you are putting your 100% in yourself, that you are putting your 100% in your work and your goals, and you're 100% pursuing your career and pursuing your life of fulfillment, you will succeed. And I truly believe that. But all that my family and everybody outside looking in, all that they see is me doing something that they wouldn't do. That's all they see. And because it's something that they wouldn't do and they don't understand, they judge it. And not only do they judge it, they judge me for wanting to do it. Okay? And yes, it's coming out of a place of worry and love because they want me to be safe. But it is also evidence of a lack of faith. It is also evidence of doubt in me. Because if they knew, if they had faith and believed in my ability, there would be no reason for concern. In my opinion, there would be no reason to have to lecture me about my life choices and what I do. Because they have faith that no matter what endeavor I choose, I will be successful. Now, I have more confidence and belief in myself than anybody else could ever have in me. And that's just a reality of life, right? That I'm sure that's for everybody. Obviously not for those who have self-esteem issues, but for me, I'm a confident person and I know what I'm capable of. So, I understand that I will always have more belief in myself than anybody else will. And that's okay. That's understandable because nobody understands me like I understand me. Nobody understands the work that I'm putting in like I do, you know. And that's okay, you know. I don't expect everybody to understand my everything that I do and all my choices. But it would be nice to if people were to try, you know, to try to understand. And specifically, what I'm talking about is not going to college. So, right after high school, I told everybody, okay, I'm not going to college. I'm going straight into a real estate, become a real estate agent, and I'm just gonna make money that way. I'm gonna become a real estate investor, and I'm gonna make a ton of money and become a landlord and raise the rent on a single mother with a family of four. And that was the plan. That was always the plan coming out of high school. But it didn't work out. You know, it didn't work out because I realized real estate is kind of fucking boring. It's not always sales. It's not always talking to people and working the crowd, you know, kind of thing. It's a lot of it is paperwork. A lot of it is boring office shit, emails, you know, and that just wasn't for me, you know. But after that, I sunk into a sort of depression because real estate was my purpose at the time, or that's what I believed to be my purpose. Um, and without it, I felt lost. I felt like a failure because all throughout, well, not all throughout high school, but halfway throughout high school, I was talking big game about I'm gonna be making moves right out of high school. Like, all you guys are gonna be wasting time in college. You know, I'm gonna be out there fucking grinding and shit. And it didn't happen, you know. And, you know, partially that's on me. You know, I shouldn't have been so cocky about it. And I learned my lesson, you know. Um, but I never regret it. I don't regret it. I don't regret any part of my life because every part of my life is a part of me. And it has made me who I am today. And I love who I am today. So I don't want that to change. But not everybody sees it that way. The period after I lost interest in real estate, I had 3 to 4 months before the next semester of school would be available that I could go to college for the first time at this point, right? And it was in these months that I saw how people saw me. When I saw myself as a failure, I feel as though some people would have agreed with that. I feel that when they looked at me, all they saw was just another loser kid not going to college. Just somebody who's gonna fucking smoke weed and live on in the basement, in their mom's basement for the rest of their life. But what nobody paid attention to, but what nobody realized was my ambition and the discipline, the habit of discipline that I was building at the time. I didn't have it. I wasn't ambitious at the time. I wasn't very disciplined at the time, but I wanted to be. And I was going to make that happen. And looking back, within the small amount of years that it took me, it is miraculous how far I have come and how much I have grown. But they never saw that. I only saw that in myself. They never saw that. They still don't. Some of them still don't. But now I know that I will never be destitute. I will never be unfulfilled. I will never be insecure because I am too disciplined. I am too ambitious and I love my life too much to let that happen. Nobody can be more worried about me than I am for myself, than I have been for myself. I have been lectured and I have been interventioned countless times about why aren't you going to college right now? Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this with your life? But what none of them could see was my potential. What none of them could see was that no matter what I decided to do, I would succeed. And that is the most frustrating part because nobody can see what you can see. The worst part is that I'm going to college after all. I'm going to get a 4-year degree and I'm graduating. That's part of my plan now. Um, at the time, so the timeline was I'm not going to college at all. Then I went to college for a semester and then I applied for 2 classes the next semester, which was half the of the previous semester. Then this semester, current semester, I'm taking it off. So I'm going from not going to college, college dropout, and now in 2 semesters from now, I'm going to go back to college and I'm going to finish my degree. So this whole thing that everybody's been fucking freaking out about and freaking me out about has all been for nothing because I'm going to go anyway. It's never been about college. It's never been about my path. It was always about me being ready for it. I can't walk the path if I'm not ready for the path. I did not know what I wanted to do. I did not know who I wanted to be coming out of high school. And how could I have? Nobody does. So it took me a few years of searching and discovering and making mistakes and doing things I thought I would have liked, but ending up I didn't. And all of that led me to now, to here, to my decision of going to college. And now I'm not going to college because I feel pressured to go. I'm not going to college because that's what society says you should do. I'm not going to college because my parents would be mad if I didn't. I'm going to college because I fucking want an education. I'm going to college because I enjoy it. I'm going to college to become a better writer. I'm going to get an English degree and I'm going to become a professor, and I'm going to uplift those who clearly would not get the same support that they should. And all it takes is a little faith. And I feel like not enough people had that. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, because I have friends that can tell a similar story. But we're in so much of a rush to be like, okay, you're out of high school, next step, college, you gotta go, you gotta go. What are you doing? If you're not doing this, then what are you doing? Because people only think in binary. People only think about what they have done, what others have done in their immediate life, and if they have seen somebody in their life that they care about that has failed because they didn't go to college, that means anybody who doesn't go to college ever will fail also, which is not the truth. It's not the truth. That's one person. That's one variable. You know if you were a scientist and you conducted a study with one person, you'd get your fucking credibility taken away. But just because you dream bigger than other people doesn't mean they have the right to belittle yours. Just because you're doing something that somebody else never would doesn't mean what you're doing is wrong or bad or impossible. Whenever anybody tells you that you can't do something, they're not telling you that you can't do it. They're telling themselves that they can't. It's a reflection of themselves. Because if they could do it, they wouldn't be telling you anything. On the contrary, they would be encouraging you and helping you along the way because they know it's possible. But if they don't know it's possible for themselves, then they'll assume it's impossible for you. So, in the end, it doesn't matter what the fuck anybody says. It doesn't matter what. Nobody knows anything. Okay? Nobody knows fucking shit. All right? All of it, we have to learn on our own. You know, I talk about the road taken and the road untaken. Life is just the road untaken, okay? Just some people have taken similar roads, you know, and that's all it is. But we're all just figuring it out. Don't listen to don't listen to people who haven't figured it out. If someone's telling you something that you can't do and their path isn't anywhere you want to be, don't fucking listen to them. That doesn't make any sense, you know? Like if somebody is like a fucking alcoholic, their wife divorced them, and you know their kids hate them, but they went to college. Oh, you better listen to them because they got a college education. No, fuck no. You don't want their life. Don't take their advice. You know? But if somebody, you know, is a successful artist and you want to be a successful artist and they tell you you're doing shit that's wrong or they tell you that you're not working hard enough, they're probably right. You want to know why? Because they actually did that shit. They actually did what you're trying to do. Therefore, their advice is valid. Obviously, it's not going to be that way all the time, but in most cases, if somebody's trying to actually help you, they're probably right because they actually did it. I'm tired of people telling me what I can and can't do when and when I can't do it. And I stopped listening to them a long time ago. But at this point, I'm just really done with it. I'm tired of the lectures. I'm tired of the patronizing, hey, buddy, how are you doing? What's going on? Like the hey, pal, why aren't you going to college right now? Hey, pal, why are you a fucking loser? Like, I'm tired of that bullshit, okay? Like, I'm tired of well, why don't you just take a few classes here? Like, why do you have to take a full semester off? And it's like, bro, I don't give a shit if I graduate at fucking 27 years old. I'm gonna fucking succeed because I'm a fucking winner. Not because I went to college right out of high school. Like, fuck off. All right? Like I said, I know it's coming from a place of love and concern, but your love hurts. All right? Your love hurts because, as I said before, nobody can be more worried about me than I am, than I could be. Because for the past, let's say, 7 years, I have constantly been fucking going insane about my future. That for the past 7 years, every single fucking day of my life, I have been concerned about what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I have been concerned about, why am I not doing enough work? I felt I was not doing enough work, so I got to work more. Why am I doing this but not this? And I'm gonna fail. I'm not gonna succeed. So much doubt, so much negative self-talk, so many ideas and clutter in my brain constantly, 24/7. I'm constantly talking about this. I'm constantly worrying about this. Okay? Nobody could be more worried about me than I am. I have put myself through panic attacks, mental breakdowns because I'm so concerned about my future. So, do you think if I decide not to go to college for a semester, for a year, take a year off, that I'm just like, oh yeah, whatever, just taking it off, no thought put into it? You really think I didn't put any thought to it? If I did something, I did it for a goddamn good reason. Because if not, I'd be fucking crying on the floor, worried about that I just fucked something up and I'm fucking doomed for the rest of my life. You know, you have no idea how many times I've thought about this over and over and over again. So stop telling me what the fuck to do with my life. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it when I want, where I want it. All right? And I'm gonna succeed doing it. I know a lot of you out there can resonate with this message, and I know me venting to the camera is cathartic because I know you feel the exact same way, and you've heard the exact same lectures and the same interventions and the same patronizing conversations. And I truly hope that you can find some solace in my words. I hope that you can find some comfort and familiarity in an otherwise uncomfortable and unfamiliar place. Because as I said before, my goal is not to put down those who seek out a conventional life. I applaud it. It is necessary for society, for all of us. But I can only speak on my own experiences and what I know best. And unfortunately, this is what I know best. I hope that my videos on Instagram or otherwise give you the support that I feel like we don't receive from our traditional support systems, or the support systems that we're supposed to have. And I hope that this video found you that way. So if it did, I'm glad.